Everyone tells you the first $100,000 is the hardest. You've seen the thumbnails, you've heard the gurus, and you've read the books. They want you to believe that nothing matters until you hit that magical six-figure milestone. But here's the brutal truth they won't tell you. For 90% of people, $100,000 feels like a fairy tale. It's so far away that it actually becomes a psychological trap. You look at your bank account, see a few $100s, and think, why even bother? I am the secret architect. I spend my time obsessing over financial data, human psychology, and the hidden mechanisms of wealth so you don't have to. Today, I'm giving you a different blueprint. The real transformation, the one where your life actually changes and the math starts working for you, happens much earlier. It happens at exactly $20,000. This is the escape velocity of wealth. If you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck and feeling like your savings are moving in slow motion, it's because you haven't hit this threshold yet. Once you cross it, the gravity of poverty breaks. Let's look at the real math to see why. Let's start at the very bottom. Under $2,000, you aren't building wealth, you are fighting for your life in the survival trap. In this zone, you are a hostage to your bills. One flat tire, one dental emergency, or one slow month at work doesn't just set you back, it ruins your entire year. At this level, your mind is in a constant state of defensive pessimism. You aren't thinking about index funds or dividends, you're thinking about Friday's paycheck. This is what I call high-income poverty. You might be making good money on paper, but your net worth is effectively zero because your expenses are perfectly tuned to your income. At this level, you have zero leverage. If your boss treats you like a servant, you have to take it. If your car breaks down, you have to put it on a high-interest credit card. You are a debt slave, and the system is designed to keep you exactly where you are. The math at this level is designed to bleed you dry. It is incredibly expensive to be poor. You buy things in small quantities because you can't afford the bulk price. You pay late fees because your cash flow is tight. You take high-interest loans because you have no collateral. You are likely using buy now, pay later schemes for basic needs, which Nick Invests rightly calls a fix for your debt that actually feeds it. Your money has no weight here. It can't fight for you because it's too busy trying to keep the lights on. Even if you manage to invest $500, a small market dip feels like a disaster because that money was your only safety net. You are playing a game where the rules are written by the banks to ensure you stay a customer, not an owner. Breaking this level requires more than a raise. It requires a complete architectural overhaul of your spending habits. Then you hit $5,000. For the first time, you can breathe. This is the first level where you stop being a financial survivalist and start becoming a financial observer. You have a small emergency fund. That flat tire that used to ruin your month is now just an annoyance. But don't be fooled. You are still in the danger zone. At $5,000, you are vulnerable to what Alicia Invests calls the pavement princess trap. You feel like you have some money, so you start looking at that shiny truck or SUV. You think, I can afford the monthly payment. This is the moment most people kill their momentum. They take their first $5,000, use it as a down payment on a $50,000 liability, and reset their wealth-building clock to zero. They trade their future freedom for the smell of new leather and the temporary approval of people they don't even like. When you hit $10,000, your psychology shifts again. You feel safe. The 3 a.m. anxiety starts to fade. You have enough cash to cover a few months of basic expenses. This is the safety net. But this is also where the most dangerous trap lies. The 10,000 plateau. You feel safe, so your brain starts looking for rewards for your hard work. The real math says that at $10,000, your money is still passive. If it's sitting in a basic savings account, it's actually making the bank richer while you lose value to inflation every single day. You've escaped the fire, but you're still standing on the front lawn of the burning house. You're not building a dynasty, you're just a spectator with a small cushion. To truly change your life, you need to reach the threshold where the math takes over and starts doing the heavy lifting for you. So why is $20,000 the magic number? Why is this the number that changes everything even more? It's about mass and momentum. Think about it this way. If you have $1,000 invested and the market grows by 10%, you made $100. It's a nice dinner, but it doesn't change your reality. Your labor is still doing 99% of the work. But at $20,000, that same 10% move is $2,000. For many people, $2,000 is a full month of rent or a mortgage payment. This is the moment your money starts earning more in a single market swing than you can save in a month of hard labor. This is the escape velocity. At $20,000, you have enough weight to start participating in the real economy. You stop being a debtor that banks exploit and start becoming an architect that banks fear. Your brain literally stops thinking about how to survive and starts thinking about how to scale. Banks love people with $0. They can charge them fees. Banks love people with $1,000 in debt. They can charge them interest. But banks fear people with $20,000 in cash. Why? Because at $20,000, you are no longer desperate. You don't need their high-interest personal loans. You don't need their predatory buy now, pay later services. You have what the elite have: leverage. With $20,000, you can negotiate. You can wait for the right investment opportunity. You can afford to buy an index fund and leave it there for a decade. You've crossed the line from being a consumer to being an investor. You are now a co-owner of the world's most profitable companies. This is the level where the work scam ends, the scam where you trade 40 hours of your life for 8 hours of actual buying power after taxes and inflation. Crossing $20,000 does something to your brain that $1,000 never could. It rewires your identity. You stop identifying as someone who is broke and start identifying as someone who builds. You begin to understand the psychology of money. You realize that wealth isn't about the car you drive, it's about the options you have. This is the birth of quiet wealth. You start following minimalist money rules. You no longer feel the need to broadcast your status. You understand that every dollar you save is a soldier in your army, and at $20,000, you finally have an army that can win a battle. You start looking at the stock market not as a casino, but as a mechanism that transfers wealth from the impatient to the patient. You are no longer a spectator. You are the one holding the blueprints. So how do you hit this number fast? You follow the minimalist money rules. First, you must kill your ego. The biggest obstacle to $20,000 isn't your salary. It's your need to look rich before you are rich. Stop being a loyal customer to insurance companies and banks that profit from your lack of movement. Second, focus on income acceleration. You can only cut your expenses so far, but your income has no ceiling. Whether it's mastering sales, as Willy Finance suggests, or building a business empire instead of just a career, your goal is to funnel every extra cent into the $20,000 foundation. Look into Japanese money habits that build quiet wealth, focusing on discipline and avoiding waste. Once you hit this number, the grind turns into a slide. The first $20,000 is uphill. Everything after is downhill momentum. This is the path to becoming a silent millionaire. While everyone else is shouting about their new leases and debt-fueled vacations, you are quietly building a foundation that cannot be shaken. You are escaping the rat race, and the best part is, nobody even noticed. You've seen the blueprint. You know the real math. You understand that $20,000 is the real gatekeeper to your freedom. Now the only question is, are you going to keep playing the game designed by banks to keep you broke, or are you going to start building your own? I'm the secret architect, and I'm revealing the architecture of wealth every single week. Not to give you generic advice, but to look at the numbers and the psychology that actually work. Subscribe to Yerka Finance. Let's finish the math together. Your next level starts today. You are officially the last poor generation in your family.